Okay, should have recorded Dr. Antonucci, but one of the things that they found pretty non-typical is when healthy eyes and healthy brain are tracking. When we go and move our head one direction, our eyes go the other direction. So they're doing a lot of different diagnostic tests to see how Kaylin's reaction and her eyes behave just in general. And so one of the things is he would quickly move her head one direction or the other to see if her eyes have that typical behavior. And we'll have to do a quick test. But one side, and I feel like it was going to the right, had the typical behavior where her eyes went to the left. But the flip side is when he would move her head the other direction, her eyes actually went the direction of her head, which is not typical behavior. So summarizing, I'm going to move my head this way really quickly. My eyes go that way. And again, if someone physically moves my head that way, then my eyes should go the other way, and I just caught out of my peripherals. And Kaylin has one side that is, we'll call it normal, and the other side is not. So one of the things that gives them is some insight as to how to make up for that deficit in our vestibular system, which is related to the type of spinning, rotating that we do in that chair. We call it her space chair. With Dr. McWhorter, they've got a chair in Florida that has an extra axis. So theirs is a multi-axis, whereas the chair that we get to spin on nearly weekly in Colorado is bi-directional, I think. And the one here in Florida has that extra axis. That we're really, really interested on specifically what they do in the chair to help out with some of the vestibular, we'll call them deficits, that they've got a lot of tools here in Florida that we don't have in Colorado to help figure out where we need to essentially compensate to help out with Kaylin's balance, which will help with her posture and her walking and a lot of things. But also when you fix balance, which will increase healthier movement, oftentimes you see a lot of increases on the speech side as well, which would be an added bonus. But what's really nice is they took time during all the diagnostic testing to set measurable goals with us. We came in here with, although we've heard really great things, we came in here trying to be really open-minded, but with really low expectations, because again, during that diagnostic testing, if they can't pinpoint things to work on, then obviously they're kind of shooting in the dark. So come Wednesday, they're going to, we'll start our treatment plan this afternoon of therapy, working on things that, again, her testing today could look different than testing tomorrow type of thing, because it's just kids are inconsistent and how much they want to participate. Kaylin's no different. But we're really hopeful. They've identified some behavior right out of the gate on really just that physical exam, and a few things that they picked up on all the tests that we did earlier. But Kaylin's got cortical vision impairment, so there's a big disconnect with her vision, which leaves a lot of unanswered questions, but we're really hopeful. But come Wednesday, if they can't figure out something to work on, because obviously they want something that they can measure to make sure that this is basically, essentially, we're getting kind of the bang for the buck here, is they call it a day. They're saying, hey, this isn't the right fit for her. They send us home with a little bit of knowledge, but that's it. We're not necessarily guaranteed to finish out the week. He's had obviously really good success. He hasn't had to send that many folks home. But the interesting thing, and Brendan's got this noted in his little notebook, there's Handsome Wesley, Kaylin's tongue-tied. So all the doctors, all the specialists, all the people that we've paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars for, what the fuck? So yeah, what the fuck? Why have we not caught this sooner? But aside from that, because again, can't stay mad too long. The interesting thing that I would have never put one and two together, again, I'm not a doctor, is all the things oral and the speech and the eating and things like that. That all makes sense. But also impacts posture. So Kaylin hunching like this, and we've got some pretty scary x-rays this last go around. Yeah, this could help pick up that neck posture. We've got a couple places on her spine where it's very misaligned, and right at the base of her neck, which makes sense. Head control is something that we've always had to work on with her. So she naturally wants to do this, which is why we got that big rounded curve at the top of her spine. But yeah, and the fix, even better news, is quick. So he recommends a guy, best in the biz. He's in New York, which means we get to come and visit friends and family in New Jersey if we do travel to New York. But again, we can certainly look at specialists that are in our vicinity. But the guy in New York, it's a 15-minute procedure, a little laser. She goes home. So non-invasive fix, we like that. So already, even if we get disappointing news come Wednesday, which none of us think that we will, that's going to be the biggest thumbs up already. So Dr. Anatucci, the entire team has been incredible. So I'm already going to sing the praises of Nathan. He's been our patient care coordinator. Ooh, I'm tongue-tied. We're going to be working with Dr. K all week. She's super great. And super smart chick, which I love. Got to see more women in science. But also is taking her time of explaining things after using, of course, really big words we'll just say dumbing it down for us simple folks to understand. But super impressed by these guys. Really, really knowledgeable. And I feel like it takes me a little bit more to be impressed. Some of it is doctors just using big words, but if it doesn't make sense to us and doesn't resonate, then we don't really understand what they're testing for. And that can just create confusion on the flip side when they actually talk about treatment plans. But so far we're only half day in. We've got a lot to process, of course. Taking a lot of notes. We'll do a lot of videos throughout the week, of course. But the key is, Brendan has done a great job. We've had a team of therapists in the past that have done a great job of just keeping her moving. The purpose of being here is to just better understand her brain, and how we can make all of the movement that we're doing a bit more purposeful, so that we can address some of these bigger deficits that will contribute to her having a healthier gait pattern and just a lot of things. She's obviously got a lot of gaps in where we want her to be. And of course, one thing about walking is falling. So balance in those protective responses is all up here, guys. So we've spent a long time keeping her strong and healthy and out of an operating room, which this kid has had multiple surgeries, but she hasn't had dozens. And there are so many kiddos her age that have had dozens. And if you're constantly in an operating room fixing important things that need to be fixed, then your body doesn't get the rest that it needs. Your body isn't even allowed to recover and to get stronger. So we have been incredibly blessed that she's been as strong as she has, and that she's been as healthy as she has. We've had a couple minor setbacks over the last decade, but a couple is a lot better than a dozen. So we're excited to be here. We're going to have a lot of answers soon, but just super impressed, half day. And the team is super nice. So they're all really great. We don't get to go very many places where people talk to our daughter like she's normal. So that's always incredible. And I can think of the last place that this happened, and shocking, day one, I left in tears. So kudos to this place, Plasticity Place. Shout out to Napa for always encouraging parents to research and just believe in their kids beyond what we're told by doctors and people that go to school for a very, very long time. So more to come, to be continued, and I'm sure I'll cry more at the end of today because I'm a big baby. But so far, so good. And now we know she's tongue-tied, like super, and she's never had a problem with like a gag reflex or anything like that. So pretty crazy to learn that this late in the game, but easy fix. So, but stay tuned. This is going to be a cool week. And I get to participate till Wednesday. So, for any of the new parents out there navigating a new diagnosis, or parents in general that are struggling with kind of that work balance, that life balance when you've got some extra challenges, I run into a lot of people all the time that ask, like, you know, how do you get to do both, where you participate in therapy and work? And again, got to be organized. That's number one. I've got an incredible support system. I had my mom, and now I have Brendan doing a lot of the work. But find the right employer, because you can. They're out there. I work for one of them where I've just worked for people that I was very upfront with some of my family needs ahead of time. Of course, it's nothing that you feel like you should have to hide, although I do run into people that do feel like they have to. But I've changed jobs pretty consistently every 3 years, and I have worked for folks that have been so flexible with this journey from the very beginning. So that I will throw out there as well, is that if you're working with someone that is literally giving you a hard time for having to take off work and things like that, there are employers out there where you can work remotely and you can have a little bit more flexibility in your schedule, depending, of course, on your profession. Probably a little bit harder if you've got a hands-on skill, but it can be done. And, you know, shout out to the employers that are working with folks so that they can participate in some of the therapies that their kiddos need, because that is key. We need to be able to learn to keep up with the needs of our kiddos, and they look different from day one to, you know, whatever day you're on, depending on the age of your kiddo. So something else just wanted to throw out there, because I get a lot of questions about that, and also been incredibly blessed on that side of the fence as well, that I've worked for some really compassionate folks, and you don't have to have a sick kid to be able to relate to this type of journey. You know, parenting is hard all across the board, so just, you know, work with the right people, and that'll help save you a little bit of sanity. But to be continued, we'll have a lot more notes. I want to recap just so I don't miss things or forget things, but those were kind of the two highlights today. We always go into diagnostic testing a bit nervous because, you know, Kaylin responds really well to really simple instructions, and it's kind of hit or miss when they become a little bit more complex, meaning that there's one or two more steps, and of course anything related to her vision. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch your child get tested and know that she's capable of so much more than what those calculated outcomes are or what they're measuring. But that's just because, you know, we live with her and we can cater to those weaknesses and the strengths. It goes both sides. So the other thing that I thought was really interesting, and I kind of like it, is we have spent a long time really focusing on the weaker side to try to have that side catch up with the stronger side. And I wish I would have recorded Dr. Anatucci because I actually had him kind of explain the thought process. But they obviously identified pretty quickly one side being stronger and weaker than the other, right? But her spastic side, the right side, is stronger on those neurological reflexes, which is so interesting to me. So really, really cool. We obviously knew, look how handsome her brother is. He's being pretty good so far.